"Some secrets are like poison," Amelia told her. "They don't protect the family. They corrupt it from within." When Sarah finally submitted documentation to the Historical Justice Commission, requesting amendment of the official record, she included photographs, journal entries, financial records, and her sworn testimony. The weight that had pressed against her chest for months began to lift. The truth, however painful, was finally seeing light. As the final document left Sarah's hands, the protective walls her family had built for generations began to crumble. The Historical Justice Commission had received everything: photographs, journal entries, financial records, and her sworn testimony. In the space between confession and consequence lay a territory few families willingly entered. The weight that had pressed against Sarah's chest for months lifted slightly, replaced by the burden of anticipation. What happens when a family secret, carefully maintained across 3 generations, finally shatters in the harsh light of public scrutiny? 3 weeks later, Sarah stood in the corner of a small conference room at the local library, watching 2 families that should have known each other for decades finally meet. Martin Keller, supported by his daughter and grandson, sat across from Sarah's father, whose eyes remained fixed on the table. The silence filled the room like a physical presence. "I never thought I'd sit across from your family," Martin said, his voice steady despite the tremor in his hands. "Not after 70 years of wondering why my cousin's medals disappeared from the records. Why his name became just another forgotten casualty." Sarah's father started to speak, then stopped, his prepared explanations suddenly inadequate facing real human suffering. The abstract historical betrayal had transformed into living grief that rippled across generations. "I didn't come for apologies," Martin continued, surprising everyone. "At my age, I've learned that resentment is a poison you drink yourself. I came because I wanted to see the faces of the people who've been living my cousin's alternate life, the life he never got to have." Their conversation unfolded like delicate surgery, painful but necessary. Martin's family shared stories of their relative preserved through oral history, a young man who loved classical music and dreamed of architecture. Sarah's family revealed the complex man who had lived haunted by his original betrayal, whose charitable giving seemed like attempts at redemption. "It wasn't just medals and money he took," Martin's daughter said, her voice tight with emotion. "It was our family's closure, the ability to mourn properly." 1 month later, Sarah stood before the Regional Historical Society, presenting alongside a historian specializing in wartime identity theft. Her hands trembled as she displayed the photograph that began her journey, now accompanied by documents establishing its authenticity.
"Today isn't about condemning or excusing," Sarah began.